Gentlemen, welcome to Fight Club.
Sometimes you just can't beat the original, so why even try?
Well, you might as well know, as you won't live to use the information. I'll work you up.
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 untouchable movies.
I should get one of those signs that says, one of these days I'm gonna get organized.
You mean organized?
For this list, we're taking a look at movies that Hollywood should never, ever try to reboot or remake, because they're that good to begin with.
You make me afraid of myself.
However, we're excluding animated films like Toy Story and franchises that have inspired spin-offs or expanded universes like Star Wars.
Too short for a stormtrooper.
Huh?
We're also putting any movies with surprise endings in their own honorable category, because there's absolutely no point in retelling a story where we already know the big twist. It'd be like remaking Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho shot for shot. Oh, wait. Number 10, The Exorcist. Every Halloween, there's another new flick that markets itself as the scariest movie of all time.
You're gonna die up there.
But no film has scared audiences quite like this 1973 masterpiece.
You know what she did? Your canting daughter?
An Exorcist remake may try to up the ante with more gore, more blood, and more vomit. Not to mention more CGI.
What is it?
This would be futile, however, as no actress's portrayal of Regan McNeil could ever be more horrifying than Linda Blair's, and no director could ever recapture William Friedkin's spine-chilling imagery.
Your mother sucks cocks in hell, Karis, you faithless swine.
The original reached the pinnacle of terror, and will simply never be topped.
Stick your cock up her ass, you mother-f***ing worthless cocksucker.
Be silent!
Number 9. E.T. the Extraterrestrial.
E.T. phone home.
Oh my God, he's talking.
The 20th anniversary version of the Steven Spielberg classic felt like a stab in the heart, with its computer-generated E.T. and walkie-talkie-wielding FBI agents. At least there's some solace in the fact that that's the closest we'll ever likely come to a remake of E.T. Everything about the original film still holds up flawlessly. The story, the characters, the music, the pacing, the humor, the sentiment, and even the practical effects. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Oh, and don't even think about trying to make a sequel either. Number 8, Taxi Driver.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
There are some iconic characters that are accessible to different performers throughout each new generation, like Cinderella, James Bond, or Batman.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
It's impossible to imagine any actor other than Robert De Niro as Travis Bickle, though.
Someday a real rain will come and wash all this scum off the streets.
Who else could get inside Bickle's mind other than De Niro? What director could surpass Martin Scorsese's haunting vision?
Whatever it is, he should clean up this city here, because this city here is like an open sewer, you know? It's full of filth and scum. And sometimes I can hardly take it.
Although there had been buzz that Lars von Trier was considering doing a remake of Taxi Driver, that rumor has fortunately been debunked. Number 7. The Godfather.
Why did you go to the police? Why didn't you come to me first?
Speaking of performances that cannot be matched, The Godfather just might have the greatest cast ever assembled for a motion picture.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Marlon Brando as Vito Corleone, Al Pacino as Michael Corleone, Robert Duvall as Tom Hagen, and the list goes on.
What are you gonna do? Nice college boy, huh? Didn't want to get mixed up in the family business? Huh? Now you want to gun down a police captain, why? Because he slapped you in the face a little bit? Huh?
with Francis Ford Coppola behind the camera and Mario Puzo co-writing the screenplay. This was an equation for a sheer cinematic triumph.
I leave for New York tomorrow. Think about a price.
Even the best modern mob movies have the burden of living in the vast shadow of The Godfather, making a remake sound like a thankless project to produce.
That I cannot do.
Number 6. Back to the Future.
When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
Since Michael J. Fox is suffering from Parkinson's disease, and Christopher Lloyd isn't getting any younger, Back to the Future Part 4 is probably never gonna happen.
You see, Einstein has just become the world's first time traveler. I sent him into the future.
We wouldn't put it past Hollywood to give a remake of this immortal film the green light, however. But just as we shouldn't alter the space-time continuum, we shouldn't tamper with a movie this perfect.
Are you telling me that you built a time machine? Out of a DeLorean?
As far as we're concerned, Fox is forever Marty McFly, Lloyd is forever Doc Brown, and time will never change that. This is one road we shouldn't go down.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Number 5. Gone with the Wind.
Fiddle-dee-dee.
With every passing generation of actors, it's always fun to consider who would play Scarlett O'Hara and Rhett Butler in a modern remake of Gone with the Wind.
Sir, you are no gentleman.
And you, miss, are no lady.
Oh.
But don't think that I hold that against you.
However, just because it's fun to think about doesn't mean we should act on it.
As God is my witness, I'll never be hungry again.
You know the saying, they don't make them like that anymore? This applies especially to epics from Hollywood's golden age.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
The 1939 adaptation already encompassed the drama, romance, and spectacle of Margaret Mitchell's novel to the fullest extent. A remake is destined to be an epic flop.
After all, tomorrow is another day.
Number 4. Casablanca.
Of all the gin joints in all the towns in all the world, she walks into mine.
The idea of remaking Casablanca sounds like the setup to a joke.
Round up the usual suspects.
The thought of any two actors trying to recreate the chemistry between Humphrey Bogart and Ingrid Bergman is blasphemous.
He's looking at you, kid.
Just as Casablanca ends with Rick letting Ilsa go, Hollywood should let go of the prospect of remaking this timeless picture.
Louis, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
If a remake gets off the ground, we'll regret it. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon, and for the rest of our lives. We'll always have the original. In short, here's looking at you, kid.
But what about us?
We'll always have Paris.
Number 3. Citizen Kane.
Rosebud.
For every unnecessary remake that pales in comparison to its predecessor, we get a rare interpretation that's actually as good, if not better than the original.
I always gagged on that silver spoon.
Citizen Kane 2.0 would most definitely not fall in the latter category.
There's only one person in the world to decide what I'm going to do, and that's me.
Why? Well, because it'd be a remake of what many consider the single greatest movie of all time. That's no easy feat to outshine.
You know, Mr. Bernstein, if I hadn't been very rich, I might have been a really great man.
Every respectable director knows that Citizen Kane should not be touched, which gives us hope that a remake will never happen. Unless Hollywood really does run out of ideas.
People will think
what I tell them to think.
Number 2. Schindler's List. Honestly, it's hard to picture how the pitch meeting for a remake of Schindler's List would go down.
I hear your name goes on a list and they put you on trucks.
No, that's not true. You're a musician?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd find a good hiding place if I were you.
Oh yeah, that silly Spielberg movie needs a major contemporary makeover.
The list is an absolute good.
Who wants to watch a 3-hour black and white flick? We're thinking of draping Nazi Germany in color, keeping the running time down to an hour and a half max, and working in more explosions. And since the whole mass killing thing is kind of a downer for mainstream audiences, maybe nobody could die. Yeah, when hell freezes over, we'll stick with Mr. Spielberg's vision and Mr. Neeson's performance. Thanks.
Someday, this is all going to end, you know.
Before we immortalize our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
Mrs. Robinson, you're trying to seduce me.
Meine Strafbitzikan! Erfolgen sich das Strusen Sie mal alle Früsens da! Fracken sich da Dulden Silber!
You know the question, just as I did.
What is the Matrix?
Here we go.
And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers.
Number 1, 2001, A Space Odyssey.
I hope the two of you are not concerned about this.
No, I'm not, Al.
The year 2001 has come and gone, and it didn't exactly parallel Stanley Kubrick's vision. On that basis, you could argue that 2001, A Space Odyssey is dated and could use a remake. On the other hand, this is a magnum opus that will never be withered by age, whether viewed in 1968 or 2068. Even if the title is grossly inaccurate, the film's themes of humanity, technology, evolution, and the unknown will always be relevant to our changing universe, and its cinematography will remain marvelous no matter what. Instead of attempting to reinvent the past, let's look ahead to the future. Do you agree with our list? What other movies are untouchable in your eyes?
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
For more entertaining top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
And like that,